Hello again, everybody. Boyd here. Well, I just wanted to come back and show you guys the Nautilus one more time. After I put up the video for the finale of this build, and I went back and looked at it after it went up on YouTube, I really wasn't happy with how it looked on the final shot there. I shot the model out in our dining room table, and we got a really bright chandelier over the top of that with some warm white lighting, and I thought it made the model look really weird, like it almost looked too gold or whatever, and you really couldn't see all the individual colors that are on this model. So I brought it back out here in the shop and I'm shooting it with my better camera, and I just wanted to show it to you guys. We'll kind of look at it here in a second, but the other thing that I wanted to mention that I totally forgot to mention in the video was a big shout out that I wanted to give to a couple of good friends of mine, Lee Evans and Omar Baez. Those guys both helped me out a ton with the 3D printing on this. As I talked about, this was my first time ever doing a 3D print, and I would have been spinning my wheels and having a lot of mistakes and a lot of issues. The model would have took a lot more time to get finished, and who knows, I might have gotten frustrated and gave up on it. But Lee helped me out a lot with the filament printing, and Omar helped me out a ton on the resin printing. And Omar actually showed me a slicer program that I really like that's working out great, and I'm printing more parts for other models now, and everything I'm doing with that slicer is turning out beautiful. So thanks to both of you guys. It meant a lot to me. Like I said, this would have been a lot more frustrating, and who knows, it might have been a total disaster. So without their help, that just shows you what, the good people out there in the community. So I really appreciate it, you guys. They both spent a lot of time with me, and they're both busy guys, so much appreciated, you guys. And sorry I forgot to mention you in the last video. Dumb mistake on my part. The other part I wanted to mention before we look at the model a little closer was a lot of people have been asking about the glass domes on this. And now I forgot to mention that too. I actually printed the glass for this with the files that it comes with, and I put a Facebook post a couple of days ago talking about where I printed the glass in clear resin, and then I used automotive 2K clear to paint them, and they came out really nice. I was pretty happy, especially up here at the wheelhouse. I wasn't too worried about how that was going to look as long as it looked decent, because the glass is really close to the detail that's in there, and you didn't have to look into it too deep or anything. You get a general idea of what's in there, and that would have been fine. But down here for the salon, I wanted that glass to be perfect because I did all that work in the interior and everything, and it's a big huge room, and it goes back really deep and everything. There's a lot of detail in the background, so I wanted the glass for that to be really perfect. Well, I started looking around and I found these cupcake lids on Amazon. They're for little individual cupcakes. It's not like the tray that you find. I found these individual little, they're called cupcake boxes, and they just had this domed lid. And looking at the domes and the size that they were, I knew that these were going to be really close to being able to work. So what I did is I bought a sleeve of 50 of those, and they were only like $6 for the whole sleeve. And I'll be using those for a lot of other things. In fact, the big enterprise I'm building, the 72-incher, I think those are going to work for the Bazaar domes, believe it or not. But that worked out really good. And that, those are actually, finding domes like that is actually pretty hard to find. So I got a hold of those, and what I did is I used the 3D printed glass that I actually did as a pattern, and I just laid it over top of the domes, the cupcake lid, made a little line around it. Then I cut them out. The one on the salon's a little bit bigger. The one up here, I just used the very tip, the very top part of the dome for the wheelhouse glass, and you can see it came out really nice, especially the salon glass, because the plastic is just, it's like vacuum formed, and it's perfectly clear. There's no imperfections in it. You can look in it and it doesn't get really blurry or anything like that. So just a little tip for you guys out there that asked about it, or if you're going to try something, or if you need some domes of some kind in clear. So it's very inexpensive. There's people out there selling domes actually for this model for like 35 bucks. So, for $6 you can get 50 of them and use them for other projects and all that. So I always like to pass along tips whenever I find stuff like that, and I just completely forgot to mention it when I shot the video. So there you have it, you guys. I hope that'll help you out. We'll just do one little quick look around it again. We're not going to power it all up and all that, but I just wanted to pan over it one more time so you guys can see all the work I put into this, where you can see the different colors going on here. It just kind of looked almost all one color in that other video. You couldn't see the algae very well. You couldn't see the weathering I did. But we had the vents open last time, so here's what they look like closed. But yeah, there's a lot of shading and a lot of variation of color going on here, you guys. I think it makes it look very realistic, and more of that sort of aged brown look than the overall gold that it looked in the last video. So there you go, you guys. I'm not trying to spam this or anything, but after I put in all that work, I wanted to make sure I showed how it really looked in person. This is way more accurate. I'm using better lighting and a better camera out here. So, okay, you guys. Well, until we see you on the next video, which will be coming up pretty shortly, you guys take care out there, and we'll see you next time. Happy modeling, everybody.